Of course. Thanks for having me.
It's great to chat with you, my friend. Hey, to take me through, right? Like, I can only imagine what it means to all you guys to get back together. Was there one particular moment this weekend, maybe somebody you hadn't seen in a while, anything like that, that really stood out to you being back around the guys?
Yeah, just everybody getting together. I think it's the first time everyone has seen Ryan Randall since we all left school.
Wow.
And just to have the whole team back together again, it was just amazing. A great group of guys. We had a blast this weekend.
Take me back. It's funny, Gary brought up Ryan Randall to me, too. I didn't realize that Ryan had kind of disappeared on everybody over the years. I had no idea that was the case. Um,
Yeah, he.
Lonnie, take me back. Finish this sentence for me, right?
Mhm.
The reason we were able to get the job done in '02 was because of what?
Because we felt like we should have won in 2001 at
Yep.
Minneapolis, but
Yep.
we didn't. We don't like to make any excuses, but people who were at that
The
game saw
officiating
that game.
sucked, Lonnie. I'll say it. It was the worst officiated game I've ever seen in my life.
Some strange things happened in the second half. We were up 22. Going into halftime, and then it was just an unbelievable second half. But it is what it is, and that propelled us to come back and win it all next year.
No doubt about it. A magical team, a magical run that it was. Lonnie, I asked Gary this recently. I'm going to give you the same question. How has your perspective changed 20 years removed, right? Like from what you were feeling that night to now looking back on it 20 years later, how has your perspective of winning the title that year changed?
I wouldn't say it changed at all. I mean, being from the state of Maryland, I mean, it's still a dream come true. I mean, when I see people, out and, they recognize me and like, thank you for what you did in '02. So it's still been the same for me. Me and Juan Dixon were the two players who were from the state of Maryland. So it meant a lot more for us, to win a national championship for your home school. It was just a dream come true, and it still is to this day.
I bring that up because Gary said in a way like he had more appreciation for it now, all these years removed, right? Because like in the moment, you're still living it. Obviously, you were about to start your NBA career, and has there been any of that where like oddly you have a greater appreciation for it now because you're more removed from it?
Yeah, of course. Just looking back at the tremendous, team we had. I mean, and the chemistry, the camaraderie. Just a great group of guys to always be around. You appreciate it more because we're not in the locker room every day with each other, with each other anymore. We don't hang out. Everybody has their own lives,
Yep.
families and everything. So when you get back together, I mean, you really appreciate it more, after these 20 years.
He is Lonny Baxter. He's with us here on GCR. Lonnie, you mentioned Juan, and I saw you sharing. By the way, I loved you were such a wonderful social media follow this weekend. By the way, to see all the pictures of everybody from over the course of the weekend, giving me all those sort of those touchy feelings. Just I saw you share a picture of Juan with you, Juan, and Robin, and it
hmm
got me thinking. Right, like you've watched Juan begin his own coaching career now. Were
hmm
you at all surprised that that was the path for him? Were you knowing what you know about Juan? Did you expect him to become a head coach one day, or were you surprised by it at all? And what do you make of Juan as he launches this career and what he's capable of doing as a coach?
Oh, not at all. I'm not surprised. Juan, he loves the game very much, and with his gifts, he's great at coaching. That's why he took that path. I remember when he was on Turgeon's staff to start out with, and he's just a great student of the game, and now he's passing his knowledge on to the kids that he coaches, and his own kids as well. So no, I'm not surprised at all.
Did you feel that when you were playing alongside of him? Did you like have moments where you're like, bro, you're not the coach? Like,
Yeah, Juan has that type of leadership, where, I mean, he's just driven, he's very relentless, just has a great passion for it. So yeah, I mean, this is where he belongs as a head coach.
Do you believe he could? Lonnie, obviously what's going on right now at Maryland. Of course,
hmm
besides the fact that they got a really nice win yesterday, and I can only imagine that added to the level of fun for you guys being there that they played so well. but you know what's going on, and there are various opinions. Do you believe? I'm not asking you if he should, but if Juan were to be hired to be the next basketball coach at the University of Maryland, do you believe he could succeed immediately at a level as significant as the Big Ten?
Of course, like I say, Juan was, on Turgeon's staff. He knows the program. Everybody loves Juan. I think he would be great, for that job. Coming back to his alma mater where it all started. I mean, it would just be um, something else in the history books, to write about because, I mean, Juan's that type of person. He's very charismatic. He has the drive, he has the energy and the passion for it. So it would be great to see him as the head coach of Maryland.
He is Lonny Baxter. He is with us here on GCR. Lonny, speaking of this, as someone who obviously cares a great deal about the program, the way that you do, of course, right? Like, do you have things that you want to see during the course of this coaching search? Do you have any opinion at all about what you want from the next coach at the University of Maryland?
What do I want?
Yeah.
I just want us to be able to compete on a high level again. I mean, it's been a very down year this year. It's been a lot of adversity, a lot of strange things going on. But I just want to see us to compete at a high level. The way that we know, Maryland is capable of playing. So, I mean, that's all I really want, to be honest.
Do you worry at all? I bring this up. We were talking about it earlier in the show. Do you worry at all about, it's so great to celebrate you guys, but we recognize in the 20 years since there hasn't even been, an Elite Eight run
Hmm.
since that point. Do you worry at all about whether or not Maryland can return to that prominence that you guys created for them?
Of course they can, and I believe that they will. It's just a matter of time, to get things turned back around. But I know that it will happen sooner or later. Like I say, I'm just waiting to see, what happens. Just letting the process play out, and then just going from there.
I mean, I appreciate that, and I certainly believe that there's no reason to think that the right coach couldn't get Maryland basketball back to that point, right? Unfortunately, they don't make many more Gary Williams. There's unfortunately.
Yeah, I was teasing him this weekend. I was like, you need to come back and save the program. So,
Could you imagine? By the way, could you imagine how electric that place would be in the fall
oh
if
man,
like
yeah, it
it
would be.
if
So,
they just went that route? A lot of people have thrown that idea out, right? And it's I say it knowing it's almost certainly not going to happen, but there have been a lot of people that have thrown out the idea of like, what if you identified Juan as the next guy, but you said let's do 2 years, right? Let's do 2 years of letting Gary come back and being the guy for 2 years and Juan being with him, and then acknowledge like a succession plan for Juan to take over for Gary after that.
hell
I don't think
yeah.
they're gonna do right, but like that sounds pretty good, doesn't
Nah, I mean,
it?
I've seen stranger things. You never know what can happen. So we
Man,
just have to wait it out and see, and then just hope for the best.
oh, it would be so cool. Hey, I was talking. One of the things when we had Gary on last week that I brought up, and I want to run by you, Lonny, the relationship you guys shared with him, where he could get after you, but you guys were able to give it right back to him. And
Hmm.
unlike a lot of coaches who would be fragile and who would say like, "No, I'm the coach. You don't talk to me that way." How impactful was it that you guys created a bond and a relationship where you were able to go back, curse at him, and yell at him, and give him a taste of his own medicine? And how significant was that for you guys in getting to where you ultimately got to?
From day one, Gary always showed tough love, and I always understood it from the beginning. And I mean, there were times where like you say, we would go back and forth, but he knew we were going to give it our all on the court. If we made a mistake, we were going to make a mistake going 100 miles per hour. And he just trusted us, so we, gave our hearts back to him, just giving it all on the court, because, he's our fearless leader and we trusted him and we would do anything, that he said because like I say, he's Gary, and he just instilled that in us, and that's why we were able to, persevere through all the ups and downs and adversity through the years at Maryland.
That's cool. That's cool. Lonnie, this is a great question that came in from Chris. He wants to know if you've kept anything for 20 years later. What do you still have, like memorabilia wise, from that season, from that run, from that night in Atlanta? What have you held on to 20 years later that you still have like in your office or something like that?
I mean, I get gifts all the time. I got a gift a couple weeks ago from someone. A picture of the starting five of the national championship team. Me, Blake, Chris Wilcox, Mouton, and Juan. It's sitting on my desk where I work at Jim Coleman Honda.
That's cool.
Um, you know, and I mean, Gary Williams' wife bought a couple cars to me, and I delivered them both to his house, and he gave me a poster of the celebration of me and Juan, on the floor celebrating, and
Wait,
Taj was holding us up. And things like that. I mean, they're just priceless. They'll be etched in my mind forever. And 20 years later, I mean, things like that just mean the world to me.
It's so funny, Lonnie. You and I talked about this when we were working on a print issue of Press Box, which is available right now, by the way. If you haven't picked it up, the 20th anniversary celebration, you can go pick it up at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations in the area where you find Press Box. But tell me about that image, right? Because it's the most iconic image in Maryland basketball history, right? You guys sharing that moment after the title game was over. When you see that image, what does that mean to you, Lonnie?
Oh man, the the biggest thing I remember about the title game is just the clock hitting zero and Juan throwing the ball in the air, and then after that it was just pandemonium, just just oh my God, just living on cloud nine that we actually achieved the national championship after everything we've been through, in the 4 years at Maryland that I was there.
Is it a reminder? You reference a couple times. You guys were the local guys, right? Like you were more the DC guy, he was the Baltimore guy. Does it remind you that like this can be done? If the Maryland program can just get kids to stay home and know that you can do this thing. We know how much talent there is in this area, right? Like we know it's there. Is it a reminder of how much more it can mean for kids if they choose to come to Maryland, being local, that winning it, what you accomplish can mean so much more to you?
Of course, our team, we weren't a bunch of, highly sought after players. We wouldn't have any McDonald's All Americans. We all pretty much came in as unknowns and we left as national champions, and that's something, that'll live with us forever. And I mean, I just can't say enough about, the university, the fans, Coach Williams, my teammates, what all of them mean to me. And this weekend was just a reminder of the special unit that we had.
It's awesome, man. All right, Lonnie Baxter. So if somebody's in the market for a vehicle right now, where should they be looking?
Oh, I'm at Jim Coleman Honda in Clarksville. You can stop by anytime. I'm always here. So,
I and
or
I
call in.
I mean, I can only imagine somebody walking. How many times has somebody walked in and been like, "Wait, really? This it's you?" How often do you
Yeah.
get that in your life?
It happens quite a while, so but I mean, I'm used to it. I mean, I'm just glad to still be here serving the community and helping in any way I can.
That's awesome, man. We're glad to have you still in the community and back involved with the unit. I know it had been a few years there before you had been back, and we're so glad to have you back more frequently with the University of Maryland and involved, man. Lonnie, you're not correct. You're not on Twitter, correct?
No, just Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram and Facebook. You can find Lonnie Baxter on either one of those. And, of course, give him a follow. It'd be crazy if you weren't at Lonnie _ Baxter 35 or at LB _ Jim Coleman _ Honda as well. You can find him in those places. Lonnie Baxter, greatly appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for
Okay.
taking the time for
Yeah.
us this morning. Glad that you were back and enjoying it with the guys this weekend. Let's chat again soon, all right?
Okay. Thanks for having me, and God bless.
Thank you. Lonnie Baxter.